Get. There's our lovely recording. And we'll pull up the screen. Screen shares up. If you don't see it, give me a shout. But welcome everybody to the March edition of our PTA General Meeting. As usual, I am your host, Danny Torres, PTA President. So today we got a special guest again this week. Special Q&A session with Principal Modine. But as before we get to that, as usual, we always like to start out with some big shout outs and big wins. We got a good list this month. First and foremost, to Ann Allen, Denise Guevara, and all of the room parents. The friendship parties were a huge hit, just like the winter parties. My kid came home sugared up and very excited about all the friendship that she received. And speaking of the friendship parties, this huge list of people that made the flowergrams happen. Kristen Lasprilla, Zaina Lord, Mandy Nor, Monica DeConchak, Hub Orr, Dana, Luciana, Juliana, Pamela, Sherry, Elena, Dominique, Priscilla, Jasmine, Miss Harrison, Miss Burgess, Miss Singleton, Miss Ruth, Miss Cabral, Miss Modine, Miss Labreezy. It was a ton of people that partnered together to make this happen, and it was hugely popular. What started off as just a simple idea, just something that thought would be fun to do, turned into a great success. The team ordered 560 of the flowergrams. They ended up selling all but three of them. So, really big success. Thanks to everybody who was involved with that and spreading a little bit more cheer in addition to the friendship parties that were already happening. Also in February, that was Black History Month. Sean Fling, Crystal Grant did an amazing job of creating the beautiful hallway displays in the school. They helped the staff coordinate some thoughtful learning and celebrations for Black History Month. So that is always super appreciated. Next, a call out for somebody who lives behind the scenes, behind the camera, if you will. It's Sarah Gavira. Sarah is the person who is behind the Collinswood Language Academy news. She is a volunteer who works behind the scenes. She manages the news equipment and is an integral part of the team. So wanted to give her a shout out specifically and show our gratitude for all the work that she does behind the scenes for the news. Sydney Pinkay is a kindergarten mom who is affiliated with Carowinds, the theme park down here in my neck of the woods. And a couple of weeks ago, Sydney reached out with just a literal truckloads of stuff from Carowinds, a real big donation from Carowinds that gave us the opportunity to replenish the cajas de tesoro, the treasure boxes in all the classrooms, helped us with some of the staff appreciation, and even stocked us up on some fall festival prizes for next year. So shout out to her for her generous donation, and shout out to everybody who drove to Carowinds to fill their cars and trunks with all of the stuff and get it to the school. Then last week, Elena and the Spiritware team. Don't worry, Elena, you don't have to speak for this part. Shout out for the flash sale we had as part of the Read Across America Week celebrations. There was a huge number of orders that came through last minute as kids wanted and the students wanted to wear their Collinswood Spirit gear for Friday. Elena and team did a fantastic job of filling all those orders, distributing them out so that everybody can wear their Collinswood swag proudly on Friday. And then also on Friday, Liz Reinfeld and the Sky Zone Night, the active event. Um, all the pizza, all the slushies, all the jumping. The event was just as popular and just as well received as it was last year. So thank you to Liz for that. All right, moving on. I'm actually going to stop sharing so we can see Principal Modine. Want to do a Q&A session with Principal Modine, similar to what we did with our representatives from CMS at our last meeting. Leading up to this, we We sent out some messaging communications asking everybody to submit their questions and submit things that they wanted to hear Principal Modine talk about. And Principal Modine graciously agreed to join us and answer those questions. So, Principal Modine,
I'm
you
ready.
you ready? All right. Let me pull up my rights. Good. All right. So we'll break these down kind of by topics. There was a couple things, couple overlapping themes in the questions. First, with regard to playgrounds and recess, couple questions about both increasing the possibility of increasing the kids' time outside, particularly for some of the younger kids who may need a longer outdoor playtime, as well as the younger kids and younger grades' ability to use the playground.
All right. So I can answer both of those at this kind of at the same time. So with the first one, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So with the first one, about the amount of time that we have for recess, that was something like at my other school that I worked at previously, we did have two recesses for our K2 kids. So they ended up with about 40 minutes. However, CMS has given us really clear expectations about instructional time, and we have to follow the guidelines that were given, and that allots for 30 minutes of physical activity during the school day. And so there's not any additional time available in the day for us to make that happen. That is something that we're going to try to look at for next year to see if that's a possibility. We could find some minutes somewhere. Um, because we agree that that would be nice to have more exercise time for the kids. One of the things, though, that we're trying to do is Miss Ruiz Diaz was a teacher assistant that we hired, and she was actually teaching team building time for our K-5 kids, which is another opportunity for movement that we added into the schedule since we didn't have dance anymore. Unfortunately, Miss Ruiz Diaz's last day was yesterday. And so now we're having to back up and punt and try to figure out, okay, how can we take this extra time that's one of our specials and make it a time where kids are moving around and there's physical activity. And so we're working on that right now to, like I said, back up and punt and rethink how we can use that time and who's going to teach it. So, in answer to the question about adding more time in, right now, that's just not something we can do during the regular school day because we are allotted 30 minutes. And then about the playground, this has been something I know that's been a concern for quite some time. The issue that I see is when I went outside, one of the first things I did, because when last year when I came here, that was something that was a concern. And all playground equipment is age appropriate, and meaning like it tells you it's like this group of students can use this equipment safely. So when you go outside and look, it says that our playground equipment is for kindergarten through fifth graders. However, when you go outside and really look at and think about the fact that these kids are 5 years old and the equipment that they're playing on, it is, in my opinion, absolutely not appropriate for kids. And last year we tried a couple of times for kids to go outside on the playground, and we ended up having kids that were hurt, even with the teachers monitoring them. And it's just because the equipment is really high for 5 and 6 year olds. So one of the things that the PTA has been so awesome about is trying to help us figure out how we can reconfigure our courtyard space. And even though we can't put playground equipment like the playground equipment outside into the courtyards, there are other things that we can do to make that area more kid friendly and where they enjoy being outside. So that's what we're trying to do right now is figuring out how can we use the space that we have, because it's just really not safe for our kindergarten and first graders to go out there on the playground equipment.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Now, the next group of questions revolve a lot about communications within
Hmm.
from the school, and specifically a lot of questions about timing. What is the school-wide expectation
Yeah.
for teacher communication with parents, and what is the turnaround time that we as parents can expect when sending messages to our teachers or to the administrators when asked to respond to any sort of questions or concerns or even offers of praise or accolades.
Yes. And so, as far as communication goes, the expectation is that we all respond within 24 hours. That's me. That's if you contact a custodian. That's if you can contact a teacher, no matter who it is. If you contact a CMS employee, the expectation is 24 hours. But with that said, I'll say we're all human, and there have been times when I know I haven't met that expectation. Um, and that's our goal is, and my suggestion would be if you email someone, for example, and they don't respond, then the next step would be to call the office and leave a message because just as an example, I get over 200 emails a day. And if I miss a day of like going through emails, it's really easy to get really behind really fast. Is that an excuse for not responding in 24 hours? Absolutely not. But it's the reality of just where we are right now. And so my request would be if you don't get a response by email and you've emailed a teacher, then the next step is call the office and leave a message and ask that whoever the staff member is, whether it's me or anyone else, to please give you a call back.
Awesome.
Because yeah, we're working hard. Like 24 hours is the expectation.
Awesome. Thank you. And along those lines, we had a question about sharing a list of administrators' roles and responsibilities within the school to so
Yeah.
we can better understand whom it is we should speak to or contact for certain topics.
So I had sent that back out. I sent it out in November through the weekly parent communication. And it was who do I contact if I need help? And it was a list of like, if, for example, with bus behavior questions, you should contact the assistant principal. Who are our assistant principals? Who are our counselors? Right, there you go. So all of that was shared back in November. And I know I'm not going to lie. My kids go to another high school and I do not read the weekly email from the principal. I feel horrible about that, even saying that, but I know I don't. So that's why I sent it out again this week because there are people who may have missed it or forgot about it or were like, I remember that was somewhere, but I'm not sure where. So it went out again this week in the weekly parent communication. Um, and other things on here is just like for parents to know if I don't speak English and that's not my first language, who speaks Spanish at school. So we also included that information in there. And if anybody's got some suggestions about other things like, hey, I need information on this particular topic, who would I contact? And something maybe that we didn't think about that were general situations, let me know and we can add it to our who do I contact if I need help.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And I think we as a PTA can figure out a way to
Maybe even
save
post that on the
or
PTA site.
yeah, host that on the site as well. All right, last question we have for you with regard to communications is about Power School. You changes in the schedules. Some of the things we see in Power School don't aren't accurate reflections of what the kids are following in school. We had specific call outs for second grade and fourth grade. What can we do as parents, or what's the process for making sure that Power School is up to date?
So I guess I really don't understand that question. And so can Danny, do you have any additional information about that particular one?
So I think here I don't have any further information. If the person who asked this question is on the
I
call, feel free
do.
to speak up. Oh,
I do,
sure.
in case they don't.
Okay, Sherry, what you got?
Um, so this one kind of came from the Senora Hart situation. And
I'm here, Sherry. It's Emily.
oh, hey,
Hey,
okay, yeah,
Principal
you're on
Range.
here.
I just had my camera off because I'm eating a salad and figured you guys don't need to see that. Um, but hi, so I have a second grader and a kindergartner.
Uh-huh.
I only discovered it because I was trying to track where Brooks was. And normally I would just message Senora Hart and she would get the information to her that she needed for what we needed to communicate about. But um, obviously I couldn't do that because Senora Hart was out. So I went to see where she was in her class schedule, so I could get to the right teacher. And I can try. I don't have it open. I should have pulled it up, but I can open it up. It doesn't show where the kids are. It just kind of shows like a big block. I think it's back from when maybe before they started switching multiple times because they only used to switch
Mhm.
just once for English. So I think that maybe it might be like where the gap is.
Right. And
Sure.
the classes on the computer don't always match where kids are, especially in elementary school,
Mhm.
because it just has blocks of time, and those blocks of
Yeah.
time are not, they're like K2, they're not required. I mean, K5 actually, they're not required to be exactly what the kid's schedule is. In middle school, you can exactly tell like where kids are.
Okay.
And I don't know if that answered your question though, Miss Otner.
So, oh no, I think it's more, and I can't speak to the fourth grade one, but I
It's
guess
the same situation probably, yeah, because it doesn't match
okay. So I guess if we did need to know where they were to contact
front office.
okay.
Yeah, because we
Okay.
have a master schedule that we have on that's on Google Drive where we know where the kids are at any given time.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, good question though. Just things that you when you're not in the school, like things that we don't
Yeah.
realize that people have questions about, you know?
No, no, definitely. Thank you.
You're
Mm.
welcome.
All right.
So
So
yeah, like I said, it would be the same thing for fourth grade because the kids are not like what it says on the computer is not like where they are on their bell schedule view.
cool deal. Next up, let's talk about some events.
All
Couple
right.
questions about will there be an EOG prep night and
Yeah.
if Principal's Coffee will be returning? And along those lines, what are some school-wide events coming in the next 6 weeks that we can look forward to, specifically for the students during school time?
Yeah. And so the first question I'll answer is about the EOG nights. There's actually one this week for middle school. So it's not EOG night, sorry, it's math night. So that is going to be let me see, when is the middle school? Thursday. And each teacher has their own specific virtual link so that parents can go specifically to the math night that's related to the course their child is in. So that was sent out by Miss Labrizzi and the teachers to the middle school students on Parent Square. And then the other event that's coming up is on April the 3rd. We have a virtual EOG night, which is going to be available for parents to log on and get information about how to prepare for the EOGs. And that's going to be April 3rd from 6 to 7. And then we have a kindergarten through fifth grade math night. And that's going to be on March 27th from 6 until 7. That one is actually in person because we wanted the parents to come in and understand more about like how to support their kids at home. I think they're planning on making some possible math games and making sure that when parents walk away, like they walk away with something and they walk away with knowledge that they didn't have before. So those are the three events. Those were all events that we had planned as part of our school improvement plan as action items. And so that's why earlier, like when we got back from the winter break, that was a priority that we wanted to make sure that we committed to doing these things. We're going to have to make sure that we follow through and provide the teachers with the parents with what they need to support their kids at home. So that's part one. Um,
Awesome.
And then part two is about you were asking about events that are coming up.
Yep.
And
And things
so
that kids
actually,
can look forward to.
yeah, so like this what Miss Bissell put in there that on the math night, which is on March 27th, we're gonna be serving pizza. Thank you, PTA. And so and we'll also have some food trucks out that night for anybody that wants to buy food. And then coming up activities this Friday, we have a CASA's meeting with our students. So that's is going to be Friday. And then activities that are coming up for kids
Okay.
specifically for middle school parents. I mean, middle school kids, we have a middle school madness night, which is going to be so fun. I'm so excited about this one. So, it's March Madness, and so we're going to have a middle school madness night just kind of for the kids to hang out after school from 4:30 to 6. And we're trying to get it where they're going to be able to watch a basketball game in the multipurpose room. And then kids that want to go to the gym will have the gym area where they can go and shoot baskets. And so that's March 21st, which is coming up in 2 weeks. And then things that are coming up during the school day. The book fair's coming up. That's March 21st to the 28th. And then we've got um, the 2 days before spring break, which is April 10th and 11th. April 10th is the multicultural potluck, which is at night, and that's an event for all of our families, which I think Miss Lord's going to share some information later on about that. And then on the 11th, mark your calendars, April 11th, that is the International Parade. And I know last year there were some questions about whether or not we could send, like kids could go home after the parade. The only problem with that is that kids would be marked absent after the parade if they go home, but we're not going to stop parents from taking them home. I mean, it's the day before spring break. Just knowing that they would be marked absent if they go home after the parade will be the only thing. So those are some activities that we have coming up like during the school day for kids. And then was there another question?
Yeah, will Principal Coffee be seeing a comeback?
So no, and I'm going to explain why though. It's it wasn't attended very well last year, no matter what we tried to do. We like tried to change topics, and people didn't come, which is why personally I'd rather people come to the PTA meetings because then they're not having to go to two different places for meetings. And so I think more opportunities like this to be able to have people ask questions and then have me at the PTA meeting so then we can take care of both of those things would save people time and just make things more efficient for families. So that was the reason that we didn't have the parent principal coffees because they were very poorly attended. We only had like three people come at a time.
Gotcha.
Well, maybe five. Uh, It was more like five.
Gotcha. And then one last question from regarding events
Uh-huh.
was about literacy night and math nights. That there's essentially a trend that most after school events related to academic nights are scheduled on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Um, is there any possibility to move those from Tuesdays or Thursdays? This particular parent had some concerns about not being able to attend due to sports, dance, kind of
Yeah.
extracurriculars with their kids.
So that's something that I mean, I think I thought we had one activity that was on a Wednesday. Like I thought maybe was Bio Literacy Night on a Wednesday. I don't remember.
I can't remember
I
either.
know something recently was on a Wednesday because I was thinking, oh wow, look, it's not on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Um, and I think people just do that. For a while, people a long time ago would avoid Wednesdays because people would go to church on Wednesday nights. And so that was just kind of a long time. CMS did not allow us to have activities on Wednesday nights. Um, oh yeah, it was on Wednesday. And so that's something that people are starting to use Wednesdays a little more now. And it's something just to keep in mind. Um, to use that as another night that's available.
Perfect.
Yeah, because Friday nights are probably not the best to have a meeting.
I don't know. I'd want to hang out at the school on
Depends
a
on where
Friday
it is.
night.
Oh, we're gonna have to have a noche familiar again.
Yeah, we are, especially as the weather's getting better.
I know.
All
Um,
right, so
and
we'll
then, there was a question on here, um, about one of the questions I had was about what is a referral?
yep,
Did you
that's
have
actually
that
where
one,
we're
Danny?
yeah, that's actually where we're headed next, to
Oh,
school
okay.
operations. There were a couple different questions about discipline in the schools, and if you could share with us what the various levels of discipline and programs for school-wide encouragement. Um, specifically, how do we encourage the behaviors we want school-wide? And tied
Yeah.
with that, what exactly, or can you provide clarity about what a referral is?
Yes, and we are running out of time because it's already 7:29, so I'm
Yep.
watching the time. Um, so whenever a student gets a referral, there's two different kinds of referrals. And a referral is what you get when you break a school rule, especially something like in the Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook is what I'm referring to, which is the CMS Student Code of Conduct. So a minor referral would be something that would I wrote down exact examples. So minor referrals would be something that's handled by the teacher. So maybe a student was taught excessively talking in class, for example, something like that. A major referral is something that's referred to the office and handled by me, Miss Labrizzi, Mr. Hutton, or our new dean of students, Miss Nixon. And so that would be something that requires further intervention than just the teacher. And so some things would be like abusive language, bullying, fighting. Fighting is automatically referred, harassment, theft, threats, vandalism, weapons, forgery, being in an unauthorized area, and anything that might be a significant disruption or significant or disrespect. And so those would all be things that are referred to the office. But like another thing that happens though is sometimes when kids are consistently we're seeing the same behavior over and over again, and despite trying to intervene with the teachers, talking to the parent, talking to the student, redirecting, if that's not working, then that's something that could become a major referral, which means they'd have to come to the office and talk to one of us. Um, so as far as interventions go, we really use Mr. Kevin a lot for he's our behavior management technician to try to work with kids and reteach expectations. Because if a student's not following the rules, we need to make sure they understand what the rules are so that they understand why they're even being spoken to in the first place. Um, we are asking the teachers to really follow through with reminding students of what their social contracts say. And so, what a social contract is part of capturing kids' hearts. And it's laying out the expectations of, as students, this is how we want to be treated. And then, as the teacher in the room, this is how I want to be treated. And making sure that everybody comes to an agreement about how we treat each other. Because if we can really get kids to focus on that, a lot of the concerns will go away because when you're respecting other people, then you're not running into the problems where people maybe feel rejected or they don't feel like they're part of the class, or you make kids maybe feel like they're being bullied. And so we're really working on the whole, I respect you, you respect me aspect. Um, and then we have a behavior matrix in the classroom, and they're posted in all the classrooms. And it's be respectful, be responsible, be safe. And what does that look like in different areas of the building? That information is like actually on the walls for kids to refer to. In the Spanish classrooms, it's in Spanish. And in the English classrooms, it's in English. And so the expectations for behavior should be clear, but we can't always assume that they are. And that's where the reteaching of expectations comes in. And making sure that when kids do break a rule, that they understand what the real rule was that they broke, and then how we're going to get beyond this. What's the next step? Did I answer all of that all at one time?
I think you did. Well done. All right, so we've got 7 minutes of your time left. So 7 minutes or less, or your pizza's free. One more, or two more questions from school operations that I feel are a little bit linked here. One is with regard to second graders changing classes and having multiple teachers. Um,
Yeah.
Excuse me, these should scratch that. These two questions are separate. First one, second graders, I've heard that second graders are going to change classes or have multiple teachers. If this is correct, how is it going? And is there any chance to revert back to the traditional one teacher per class in the future?
Yes. And so right now we do have five teachers and the kids change five times. And that was because we added a fifth teacher in the middle of the school year. And that was the only way to make things work, where the kids were going to be able to receive the amount of instruction they needed for all of the different subjects. However, next year we will be going back to six. So it'll be returning back to the schedule that it was before.
Awesome.
That was an easy one.
And then this one I think is also easy. This ties into what we were talking about earlier when you were reminding us about whom to speak to as far as
Yeah.
emails or questions that went unanswered. In this instance, this student's homeroom teacher went out on leave for about a month.
Yes.
Parents received a message stating a substitute teacher plan would be shared, but it wasn't. What would be the right way to communicate in a situation like that, especially during the day? It sounds like this would be something that we would send over to Mr. Hutton as elementary school VP.
So actually what happened was we had two teachers that were out at the same time. The middle school teacher, though, it didn't specify who to contact. The second grade teacher, it did specifically say who to contact if they needed something. And it was just an oversight with the middle school situation because honestly, I forgot that okay, I need to make sure they know how to communicate for homeroom. You know what I mean? And so that was an oversight on my part. But ordinarily, if something like that happens, then anyone can contact the front office and just say, I'm trying to make sure that the teacher knows this and pass the information on to, we can pass it on to the right person. And if that is not an option, then the next option would be to contact Mr. Hutton for the elementary and Miss Labrizzi for middle school.
All right, great. Now, the last two
Um,
questions we have for you, Principal Modine, these are more so CMS or district type
yeah.
questions. The first is in regard to the decision to close schools last week. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was last week. Hoping this parent reached out, hoping to get better understanding of some of the decision-making process behind the full school closure. The forecast was strong winds, but the
Yeah.
conditions significantly improved mid-morning. Why did CMS choose to cancel school outright rather than do a delayed start with the option to reassess in the morning?
And that's something that we're not given that information. We receive the information the same way that parents do, so I'm not privy to that information at all. I do know that whenever a decision is made, CMS does consult with the National Weather Service, they consult with local authorities, and they make a decision. Sometimes they look at what other school districts around us are doing, and then they decide to make a decision. Um, but that's something that I will pass on to like my area superintendent just to kind of say, hey, listen, just letting you know this is out there that parents are concerned, feel like they're in the dark about why school was canceled and just want more information and clarity about how that all happens. And so that's what I'm planning to share with our performance area, just so that parents are being heard about what their concerns are.
Great. Thank you for advocating for us.
Yeah. And
And
then,
last one
yeah,
on the docket. What's the any follow-up, any news to share about the possibility of a fence along Tyvola?
yes, there is.
Oh,
So after the PTA meeting, I spoke with Dennis Lacaria, and he sent a couple of people out to from CMS that I met with, and we went out to the soccer fields because I walked outside with them to show them like here's the concern because I really wanted them to fully understand from a safety standpoint that there is no fence between our kids and Tyvola Road. So what they're looking at in the feasibility that they're looking at the feasibility of putting a fence that would go completely across the entire other side of the soccer field that's closer to Tyvola. And it would go all the way from the Smith building all the way to the bus lot entrance. And so it would be a fence that would cover that entire area. So they're looking at it right now. They're trying to find the budget for it, and it looks like they are moving towards that direction. And so I just don't have a date of when that might happen. That's the only thing they could not give me.
well, hey, progress is
Hey,
progress.
I know.
That's a
We
lot
actually
more
have
than I
people
was
come out and look
anticipating.
at it. Yes, yes. And then someone asked about any news on the pedestrian crossing on Tyvola Road. So we've been told that that is not something that's feasible, that they're not going to pursue that. Um, And so they did a feasibility study, I believe, before I even got here and had made that determination.
All right,
Um,
perfect.
and yeah, Miss Bissell, I agree with you about the bumpers at the front of the building. I just don't understand why they're still there, but they are.
Well, Principal Modine, thank you so very much for
That was
attending our
awesome.
Q&A, and we finished
Yay!
right on time.
Woo
So I really
woo!
appreciate your openness and your transparency and your willingness to join us on a Tuesday evening to answer all of our questions.
Well, and the other thing I would say, is that I really would like to continue doing stuff like this instead of like going back to the principal coffee because I think this might reach more people and it'll also increase our participation in our PTA meetings. And so
Yeah,
I think it's like a double reward for everybody.
absolutely. Yep.
I
Love
agree.
that.
And I'm gonna jump off and then jump on my phone so I can get in my car and drive home. But I'm still gonna be here. I'll just be on my
Make
phone.
make sure you let Mr. Hutton go home too, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna make him go home too.
Gonna do the same. I have to pick up my own child, so I'm gonna.
Aw.
Well, thank you both so very much.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks. I'll see y'all in just a sec. I'll see you on the other side.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Let's tear through this agenda so we can all get back to our evening. Next up, meeting minutes from the February meeting. Get those up and running. Lori, do you want to run through these or do you want me to?
Sure, I can run through them. Apologies that I am in this creepy lighting here. Um, all right, last month, same day, the 11th, we also had guest speakers. We had Nicole Porti and Dennis Lucaria on the call with us to discuss the Smith Building and a number of other um, concerns that we had. They gave us a lot of information. It was very informative. We went through our shout outs and wins from the biliteracy night to the middle school dance, middle school athletics, VIP dance, and went over PTA advocacy committee. Getting into the agenda, we went over the treasurer's report, discussed the Collinswood Fun Run, the nomination committee, discussed Collinswood connections, went over middle school items, both dance, athletics, and flowergrams. We covered staff appreciation that was coming up, Black History Month, Collinswood Cares, and ultimately finished up with upcoming events and reviewing January's meeting minutes.
Thank you very much. Any questions or amendments to the meeting minutes from January? Alrighty, I motion that I move that we approve the meeting minutes for January as written. Do I have a second?
I
Second.
second it.
And all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting minutes approved. Thank you, Lori. Next up, treasurer report. Talk to us, Dominique. What do we have for us today?
So our balance in the bank today is $125,445.34. And then I wrote down some of the highlights of things that our PTA has funded just in the last month or so. We bought CASA t-shirts for all of the middle schoolers. We are sending a team of teachers to the Ron Clark Academy professional development weekend. We are we had a couple teachers finally get their receipts together. I'm so excited about this one because it's like, I don't know, it's the hill I die on. They that have maxed out their classroom discretionary, their $200. So that list is growing. It's actually better already than last year. We are covering the cost of t-shirts for our second and third grade junior reading rumble competitive reading team. We made sure that the staff had a good lunch on that early release day. We got some band supplies for Mr. Lesso that he needed, and coming up, we're actually going to be buying a book. We're buying a bilingual book for each of the rising kindergartners, so that when they come to that welcome night, they get to have a little something to go home with. help them get excited about coming to Collinswood. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Dominique. And I know Sherry posted in the chat about the permanent soccer goals being on order now. So that's super exciting too. All right,
Any
next,
questions?
any questions for Dominique? Cool deal. Moving right along. Miss Abby Blanton, talk to us about the spring book fair.
Hey everybody. Thanks, Danny. The book fair is going to run from next Friday, the 21st, through the following Friday of the 28th. We'll be having our usual morning shopping opportunity for parents and teachers kind of outside those school hours. And then we also have been given the green light for the kindergartner beginners night, which is on the 25th, that Tuesday, I believe. So we'll have some volunteers there to help man that if an afternoon or an evening shopping time for some parents is better. So we'll be getting some communication out about that in backpacks, hopefully by the end of the week. Just how to set up the e-wallet, all that fun stuff. And the other big plug is that we have worked with Scholastic to kind of get a lot more middle school appropriate books, like a lot of the classics, things like that. So I know that's been some feedback in the past that we haven't had as many books that are appropriate or as, great for our middle schoolers. So hopefully we'll have that for them this time around. So my last plug would just be for volunteers. We'll be putting out another blast on GroupMe and the socials. But just if you have some blocks of time throughout that week, the 21st to the 28th, we could always use some help. So that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Abby. And I did put the link to the book fair. Beat you to it, Sherry. Um, oh no, I sent it as a direct message. Never mind, Sherry wins. So be on the lookout for more about that, and double plug for the e-wallet makes life a lot easier. And for those who have never volunteered at the book fair, it really is super easy. The registers, don't let those deter you. They're very easy. The hardest part is really trying to figure out how to tell this kid that they have $50 worth of pencils and erasers and diaries, and they have $5 in cash. So it's a really fun way to volunteer. Next up, kindergarten events. Talk to us, Sherry.
I am looking to do like a Park Road Park meetup, kind of similar to the K-3 one that we do in September for kindergarten families to come hang out. I am having some trouble with the county website because it's saying there are no dates. There must be a website thing because there's like no dates except for one random date in April that is available, and that doesn't make any sense. So bear with me, but it'll probably be like a Friday in April or May. And I'd like to get those families more involved with and excited to hang out during the summer as well. I'll also say Jasmine couldn't be here tonight. Middle school madness, we already covered it. We would love help if we have some middle school parents on to volunteer their time and to maybe send in some snacks and drinks because those kids will be pretty hungry and they love to just eat in general at that age. So that is all. And I can answer Erica Rouse's question when we get to Cole Kessel talking about the 5K.
Perfect.
Good
Thank you.
question. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Sherry? All right, forward and onward and upward. Mrs. Zayna Lord, speaking of yummy goodies, talk to us about Taste of Collinswood that's coming up.
Okay, so I think it is April 10th, correct? Right before spring break?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Ruth is here. She's the pro. Since she's taken the job as our sweet front office lady, this has been passed to me, and I'm just there to help her, really. So I'll let her go over the big details. The one thing that I do want to say is like this when we have this event every year, these parents show up and they're like, this is why we send our kids to Collinswood. It is a chance to meet the kid in your kid's class who they have talked about every night, who you don't know who it is. You get to meet their parents. I mean, it's just so special. It really brings everybody together. It's one of my favorite events at the school. We do need some help. Ruth is going to do the sign up geniuses, and we will get those out ASAP. But I'll let her take the lead on this.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Um, yes, Taste of Collinswood is gonna be on April 10th from 5:30 to 7:30. Like Zaina said, this is the best event at Collinswood. It's really fun, it's family friendly. It is a good chance for everybody to spend time together, the kids and the families. Um, uh, we are still looking for a couple of people to join our team. This is an event that is very easy to do. We have everything set up, and it's just like a following some instructions and lines, and it's always been very successful. I can say only maybe 2 years we have some hiccups, like the rain came in, so we make a decision for the future to do something else, and that's what we're doing now, to stay indoors. It was 1 year that I feel like it was maybe a little of confusion. I was at the end running a little, running out of food, but that is the first time that happened in years. Like I can say easily 10 years or more. And we fixed it. We knew what was happening, and we fixed it. And the best example, it was last year. Last year was like the proof that this is the best event ever. We are gonna need, if someone is interested to participate and help us, please, you can call me to the school and talk to me about it. Also, this year we're gonna need the dad's help, okay, with all the setup of tables, because we rent the tables, so we need help to load and unload tables. And maybe someone is available also to help us to pick them up and return them. We are gonna put that on our sign up genius. We also always ask the families just to share their favorite plate from their culture or their country, to bring a plate to feed like between 10 and 15 people is something that is usually very easy to handle. You are going to be able to try food from all over the places. Every year we have something different. We have more different cultures and countries join our community. So I think it's being more interesting every year. And the other thing I was about to say, and I'm going to say this not only for Taste of Collinswood, I'm talking even for Book Fair and all the wonderful things that we do at the school. People is not participating too much as a volunteers. It look like, but I feel like more people can join. This is a good chance to know the people in the school. This is a good chance to participate and get involved. That's why we have all different events with different dates, with different times, because you can accommodate your time and your schedule to us. So I feel like we need the people to participate a little bit more. It's my opinion. I can see many different areas that we have volunteers opportunities, and sometimes we are lacking of volunteers. We are a big school, and we have a lot of parents, and we have a lot of people. So please, if anyone have a question, please let me know.
All right. Any questions for Ruth or for Zaina about Taste of Collinswood?
Yes. Are we going to have a rule or some kind of control in place so that people are not just coming and eating, but that they are also participating by making?
Well, last year, like I say, we fixed it because the year before that one we have a little issue with our fill the gap food. Last year it was actually a comeback from years past that we have extra, even people having containers to take home food because we have enough. But answering your question is, remember that we are in a school that have different kind of people and social economic different situations. So it is hard to control that. It is hard to tell a family that they cannot come and enjoy if they don't bring something because we don't know everybody's situations. And it's out of our hands because it's an open concept, let's call it that way, event. So it's really hard to know who is coming and bring something and give them the chance to go and get food. It's a little like, I don't know. I believe if last year and in the years past, like I say, in my memory is the year that we were missing a little of food, but because I don't know, I got a little traumatized about that one. But after we fix it and we still having the extras like in the years past, I feel like we can keep working this way because I don't want people to feel pressure to bring something. We have, like I say, different kind of families, and I hope the ones that have a little bit more, maybe they can bring the double. The ones that doesn't have anything, just come and enjoy. That is not gonna be a publicity about that way because that's not the intention. The intention always in the invitation and the flyers is bring a plate to share. Okay, so that's the idea for the people to bring something. But
Okay.
for me, it's hard to control that. I don't feel comfortable.
It's a question every year, so I figured I would just get it out in the open.
I think
Thank
last
you.
year we did have so many people bring so much extra. We had some families bring enough for 20, 25 people. And I love Dominique's idea, but, and look, put me in this category, okay? Some of these people will show up with the best dish 10 minutes before it's almost over. So I don't know how we would do that because so many people they're on their own time at Collinswood. So I don't know how we enforce that. But it is like I know that last year the people who showed up on time, I mean, they were coming back through. There was so much food. The kids were coming back through. It was great. There was plenty, and I don't think anybody left hungry last year. So hopefully that happens again this year.
We've got a
Excellent.
hand up with
Oh,
Pamela.
yeah. Hi. Yeah, so it's just tossing out an idea, and I'm happy to join the committee, Ruth, to help. But maybe even simple things like during the event, if whether you bring a dish or not, I would love more people to help in the moment. Like, someone on the mic saying, if you love Collinswood, like, yeah, and you got a little free time, you've already eaten, maybe you can step and help out with the serving for a little bit and relieve. Like, I worked the whole event. I had no relief and it was hard. I was tired by the end. And it would have been nice to have just a shout out. Maybe somebody would have, felt inspired to donate their time after they had enjoyed their meal.
Well, we'll definitely get the word out to as many people as we can, both in terms of come and eat and come and volunteer. So we'll
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'm sorry, Danny, but I feel like that is what's happening with many events, including this one, that the people get burned out because other people doesn't show up to help. So I think that is the one of the things that maybe we're missing a little bit, like the participation on it. So it is hard because, like I say, in different events, I'm being seen that people have to stay 2 or 3 shifts just to make
And
it
so
happen.
one suggestion that I would make is this is Miss Modine. A lot of times people don't volunteer because they just think, oh, well, someone else will, I'm sure somebody else will do that. I think if we really want to increase participation, a personalized phone call to different people that have maybe volunteered in the past that we're trying to bring back into volunteering. My suggestion would be to make some personal phone calls. And if you want a response, that's the best way to get it. Because then you're asking me directly to do something. So it's not like I can use the excuse, oh, well, somebody else will do it.
It's
Just a
not a bad
thought.
idea.
Can you bring your family again? Because your husband and son helped us last year.
I will bring my entire family. You know it.
Perfect.
Can we get the middle schoolers or maybe the basketball teams to like help out a little bit? Could
I
they?
can get some maybe 8th graders to help serving food. We have a year that they help, and it was nice.
Yeah, because when the
But
middle
I will
schoolers
be.
help,
I'm so sorry. Everybody knows me, and I'm sorry. Some people love me, some people hate me. But I'm gonna be very picky. I'm not gonna get whoever to help. I need people who is responsible and serious to do the job because you are handling food. You are treating with the little ones too. So I just want everything to run nice. I'm sorry.
exactly, and not only that, but they're in charge of making sure that other people don't touch it with their hands, and watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a good idea, and um, I'm always happy to welcome big, big responsible kids to help. That's nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we'll definitely figure out a plan to increase to try to increase some of the involvement, both in this event and just in general.
Yeah.
But Ruth, Zaina, thank you so much. And we'll definitely look forward to that event.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
next up we have nominations. Bailey, are you on the call today?
Yes, can you hear me?
There you loud and clear.
Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm speaking on behalf of nominations. I spoke in the last PTA meeting, and hopefully people have seen the announcements that the nominations page is open on the PTA website for nominating for the executive board for next year. We are desperately seeking somebody to have interest or tell us your ideas for who you want to be the vice president for the elementary role. Of course, please nominate for all of the roles. If you have somebody in mind or if you want to run, we would love to have for anyone, but we're really looking for somebody for the elementary vice president. And I've spoken with Sherry, and I know that she's totally willing to work alongside this person. She's been in the role for 2 years, so I know she's really willing to help whoever it is. I know it probably sounds like a lot to take on, and I know it is, but with Sherry as your mentor, you can do anything. So if there's anybody on here who's interested, or if you have somebody in mind, one of your friends that you want to send their name over to the nominating committee, we would love to hear who you'd like to represent our school and take over Sherry's job and just help us out with that. So if that's you or somebody that you know, send it over. Thank you.
Thank you, Bailey. And to piggyback off of something Bailey was talking about, you're reiterating what I said during the last meeting. Any questions at all about what any one of the PTA board positions entails, you can go to the PTA website. There's a lot of great information there. You can also reach out to any one of us directly. Happy to answer any questions, and the good, the bad, super transparent. We'll let you know everything that's involved and everything you're getting yourself into, so to speak. All right, next up, Cole and Sherry. Go ahead with an update regarding the 5K fun run.
Hey guys, Cole Kessel. Fun Run is moving right along. We are getting our website is fully live with registration, with sponsor opportunities, and donation opportunities. So, anything will go to support our goal. Also, we have volunteer opportunities all through the website where, we need people to hand out waters and to keep people on the course and hand out finishing prizes and all those fun things. So if you're interested in doing any of those things, we have an awesome website set up that guides you right through it. There was a little bit of discussion in the chat earlier about what the goal is, or for the fun run. Our goal, we are raising money to improve the playground equipment. Specifically, we're hoping to raise money to put some sun shades, so like those big kind of tent things over the I'm gonna call it the primary playground, where the in the bus lot. Additional goal, we haven't fully prioritized one over the other yet, but the additional goal is to get CMS approved play structures that will go in the courtyard. So it's not a full scale playground, but it is a play structure that is approved for our kindergarten and first graders who use that space. So I know there was a little bit of discussion there. So we are, again, we recognize the need that there is not a lot in there for our kindergartners and first graders, and that's what we want to improve that. So again, any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, events May 10th. The race, it's not a race, it's a fun run. The fun run will start at 9 a.m. And if you and your family and extended family and neighbors and anyone you come in contact with haven't signed up yet, there's still an opportunity for you to sign up and to get your training plan in order. So again, don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Cole.
I'll tag on to that.
Go for it.
Okay. Number one, the things that we want to have in the kindergarten and first grade courtyard. Ross Glenn and I have been working since the fall with Cunningham Recreation, who is an approved CMS contract vendor. Again, this all started when I tried to go over and see if we could steal the old Gaga ball pit at the old Collinswood site. But this led me down this little trail, CMS trail, to figure out how to try to do this, because we've been told no before, that we're not allowed to have any playground equipment in those courtyards. That is incorrect. We can have a Gaga ball pit in each courtyard and a climbing structure in each courtyard. To do that would be just under $38,000. So we would love for that to happen. The sunshades are also a big priority. Those kids are hot out there. The teachers are hot out there. No one wants to be out there if it's above 70 degrees because it's full sun. Also, we won't get into the skin cancer down the road. And I know no one is sending their kids with sunscreen on. So we would love to have those sunshades. To do a full sunshade on the playground, if your back is to the school, that playground on the left would get a full sunshade. And then the structure on your right would get 2 big umbrella shades. That's $47,000 for all those shades. To get to these numbers, we need sponsors. We really, thanks, Elena. If you own a small business, if you own a big business, if you have any connections to people who own businesses who would be compassionate about our school and its needs and supportive of such a need, we would love to have their help. There are grants out there. If someone wants to work on a grant, we could get like $8,000 from the American Academy of Dermatology. And we have several physicians that send their kids to this school. But this would also require us implementing some sort of sun safety program. So it's not just I'm writing a paper and I'm sending it in. What would be optimal is that if we had parents, again, who own a business, or your aunt owns a business, or your brother owns a business, that's probably your best bet of getting people to feel connected to the school and wanting to help. We're on this team reaching out to as many businesses as we can. I probably don't have to tell you all that the climate is hard out there. So the personal connection to the school matters. A lot of times proximity helps, but the businesses around our school, again, a lot of small businesses, and they are struggling too. So would love to have your help with sponsors. We do have some sponsors. We do have people signing up to run. But this might have to be a project that's actually broken down into a few different fun runs to get to a goal of like $85,000. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Cole and I. We're pretty good at asking for money. So we can totally help you if needed.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why can't we use some of the Ham Jams money as a buffer?
That is a good question. Dina, are you on the call? That's a question I don't
Yes,
want
I
to.
am.
I think it would basically come down to the Ham Jams committee is still working on the goal, the full picture of that, and how that's to be used. And I'm not sure if that's completely out of the question or a possibility. But Dina might have a better. Take it away, Ms. Modine.
Yeah, I'm going to be meeting with the Ham Jams committee, just to finalize like what we're going to do with the money, and then we can decide, if that's something that is going to fall under the realm of what the money was raised for.
All right. Any other questions related to the playground?
I swear this last thing. One sentence. The donations are tax deductible. We are a nonprofit. We can give you a letter to help with your business's tax burden or your own personal one. And you don't have to do those levels necessarily. There are options on there where you can donate $50, you can donate $20, you can donate $5, you can donate $500,000. Whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm done.
And one thing I'll add here, for those of us that are not runners and do not own small businesses, yeah, we can always volunteer. The link here is also on the website. Fill out a quick form with your name and contact information. And whether you want to be on the morning shift, the early morning shift, the late morning shift, or both shifts. As a reminder, like with anything else, we want to make sure you're a approved CMS volunteer to help out.
Very quickly, this is super cute. I just want to share because this is very sweet. Our school, I had an 8th grade student reach out to me right after they promoted the fun run on the morning news. She has a group of 4 girls, 2 boys that are asking to do fairy hair, like the hair tinsel, and face paint at the event because they want to help. They are inspired and they like the goal. I thought that was adorable. I had to share. We're going to make it happen, but our kids are the best. That is all.
Sherry, we've got leftover fairy hair from that one year at Fall Festival when we did it.
Oh, I know. I have that, and I'm
Okay.
going to use some of your tickets. I was going to tell you that after I did it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, y'all. One more item here that's not on the agenda. Forgot to put this down. But Jamie Clifton with staff appreciation. Is Jamie on here?
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Surprise. Staff appreciation. So I have brief updates. Thank you so much for everyone that brought cookies to our Chip Chip Hooray event. Everybody loved the cookies. It brought a lot of joy. There were some banging homemade cookies that looked delicious, and I was very proud of myself for my restraint for not eating those while pushing the cart around. And then thank you everyone for the rally around gluten-free, vegan options for our teachers, because that was very much appreciated for our teachers that have some dietary restrictions. Coming up, we have Thanks a Latte. It is our coffee bar that'll be set up in the planning room. Flavored syrups, different kinds of milks, and carafes of coffee. I can put that link in the chat. And then April, we also gave Miss Brittany Santiago a nice little gift for Social Work Week this month. And then April, we have a lot coming up. We have a minimum or an early release day lunch again. That the PTA provides lunch for all of the staff that day because they have a lot of work that they still have to do even when our kids get to go home. So that's our little thank you for your service. We give them some food. April's theme is yogurt, our attention. It's kind of a fan favorite amongst the teachers, yogurt bar, fresh fruit. All of that sign up stuff will be coming out later. There will be a little spring break treat coming up next month to have a jolly holiday that involves little like Jolly Rancher gift bags. And then I'm going to start collecting gift cards soon for our Staff Appreciation Week. So we're trying to provide a $25 gift card or $50 gift card for a handful of staff members. It's all up to chance what you get, what the value of the gift card is. Everyone gets a gift card during that Staff Appreciation Week in early May. And because we have, I think, roughly 95 staff members right now, I want to start collecting those soon. So I'll be putting out another, I'll put out some information, I think probably in next month's PTA newsletter, and then figure out how to manage the gift card situation. People were super generous last year. I think that I opened up a Venmo option to me for me to pick up gift cards, and I think that was helpful for people. So that will be an option again in the future. And then also a personal thank you to Sydney for all of the stuff that came from the big Carowinds pickup, because Sherry and I got to play Santa and deliver tons of stuff to the different tiendas and the different treasure box moments around the school. A lot of those, like there were these really great stuffies that have become class pets for our younger grades, which have been awesome and thrilling for everyone to get a chance to bring their little class pet home. Yeah, so thank you, Sydney, again. And that's it. I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie, for all you do. Got also, I don't know if you saw the chat, but you got a nice little shout out from Principal Modine extending her thanks as well. All right, team, that's it for the written agenda and the +1 agenda for staff appreciation. Any other items to add to the discussion today?
Yeah, this is Modine.
Go
You have
for
to
it.
excuse, I'm outside, so if you hear noise, it's because I can't go inside because I have a house full of boys and dogs. So it's either cars or dogs. So I picked the cars.
Fair enough.
So I just wanted to give a staff update, like on some new staff members that we have. So we have a new dean of students, and her name is Leslie Nixon. And unfortunately, Miss Nixon couldn't be here tonight. I was hoping to introduce her to everybody, but she has been phenomenal. Like, she's already building relationships with kids and the staff. One of the biggest charges that we have for her is that she is really working on school culture with Miss Labrizzi to try to make it a more positive school culture for every kid and the staff members also. And so she's hit the road running, and she's been just a fabulous addition to our staff. Like I mentioned earlier, Miss Ruiz Diaz is not coming back, and so we're trying to replace her. We've just recommended another teacher assistant And so we're trying to get her hired as soon as possible. We are looking for 2 more teacher assistants. If you guys know anyone that might be interested in a teacher assistant position, one of them is a Spanish immersion position, and the other one is a K-3 teacher assistant. So if you know anybody that's interested in those positions, let me know.
Awesome. Put the word out. All right, everybody, last call for any other items to bring to the team. Cool deal. As always, we'll close it out with some events. I won't bother listing all of them because there's a lot. Plug here, as always, point yourselves to the PTA website between the webmaster Adam Corticus and the calendar guru Sherry Bissell. All of this is kept up to date with appropriate links, dates, information. We talked about book fair. I think one big one we've got coming up is going to be on March 29th, the rescheduled Checkers event. Side note, for those who attended the Ascent, the Carolina Ascent soccer game, other than staring into the sun all game long, that was a lot of fun. So would look forward to seeing everybody at the Checkers game as well. But keep an eye out on the calendar. Lots happening as we've discussed. So y'all, that is everything I have for you today. If hearing nothing else, I will officially motion to conclude our March General PTA meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. See you next month.